Hi everyone. This recording is going to go through the Nursing Student Handbook. To find the Nursing Student Handbook, you must log into your My Northwestern account. Then select the Department of Nursing tab across the top. My screen may look different to you due to my different roles here at the college, but you should all have the Department of Nursing tab. So select that, and you will find the Student Handbook along the left-hand side. So make sure that you select the Student Handbook. Again, mine will have a lot more than you will see, but find the most current copy of the Student Handbook. Every year the handbook will be published. So what I'm selecting now is probably not the version you will see, but it might be. So make sure you're always looking for the most updated version of the handbook. Once you select this, you have full access to all the policies and procedures that you will need. I am going to take a few minutes and highlight some of the policies that require your signature of acknowledgement. This correlates with the form you will need to initial and sign and is part of your permanent record here at Northwestern College. Although I'm not going to speak specifically about each policy, you are responsible for each one in this handbook. As you can see in the table of contents, there are multiple policies and we're only going to cover a few of those. So I am going to start with the Northwestern College Department of Nursing Mission, which is policy 2.1.1. Sometimes it takes just a little bit to get there as you scroll down. Here it is, the mission of the Baccalaureate Nursing Program. This gives you the basis for what our Department of Nursing is founded on. It also helps you understand the concept of shalom. You're going to hear that term used throughout every single nursing course. And that is a Jewish word that has been adapted throughout the Bible and throughout religious practices today, and we believe it to mean health, wholeness, and peace. And as a nurse, that is what we strive for. In your first nursing class, Nursing 310, we are actually going to explore this a little bit more. So you'll want to know where to find this information within the handbook because you're going to ask to be reflect on these comments throughout that course. Now we're going to continue on to policy 3.1.5. The Statement of Professional Conduct. We will highlight this policy because you will be expected to demonstrate conduct and behavior which conforms to the Northwestern College Department of Nursing values, identity, mission, and goals. The Northwestern College campus expectation of all the students. The Department of Nursing reserves the right to refuse or discontinue the enrollment of any student whose conduct or behavior violates the standards set forth in this statement or compromises the work of fellow students, the effectiveness of the faculty, and or the ability to work positively in a Christian academic community consistent with these policies and guidelines. Although you already hold yourself to very high standards, it is important just to refresh your mind with the expected behaviors as well as those that are inappropriate. In Part B, Section 1, these are expected behaviors, whereas in Sections 2 and 3 identify inappropriate behaviors. Any student who violates the professional conduct standard and or is charged with violations beyond parking tickets will also be considered for dismissal with the program. Our next policy we're going to look at is policy 3.3.2. This general evaluation policy is important to review because it talks about how students are evaluated throughout the program. The grading scale that is used for all courses is there. This is important information for you to know. You need to receive a final course grade of a C or above in order to have passed the course. If throughout the course you get lower than a C, that is okay, but your final grade must be a C in order to transfer on and not retake the course. We strongly encourage you to work and communicate with your instructor so you will be most successful in your courses. Next is the social media policy, which is found on policy 3.5. This policy identifies various types of social media, much of which people use every day. It's really a common part of all we do every day anymore. Please review all the specifics listed in the policy, but keep some key points in mind. Maintain cell phone off when you're in a clinical setting or you're observing in a site. We do not want that cell phone out in any way. Some facilities will not even allow you to bring them in. So please make sure when you are going to your clinical sites that you have communicated with them about their specific policy or guidelines regarding your cell phone. Approval from your instructor is needed if you do need your cell phone and the facility you are at. Confidentiality is a huge thing. Do not post any patient or family information within social media, as well as anything related to your instructor or the Northwestern College program. If this occurs, you may receive a failing grade in that nursing course. The next policy we're going to briefly talk about is policy 3.4.1, which is the clinical dress code policy. Although you will not be going to an acute care clinical site, you will be having clinical within your community health course, which is Nursing 440. You do not need to wear Northwestern scrubs for that, as in they do when they go into the simulation lab and out in the acute care clinical, but you will need to wear business casual dress clothes along with your Northwestern student ID badge that will have your picture on it when you are out doing those experiences. 3.4.2 is the confidentiality commitment policy. And this is pretty common in every place of work. You have expectations of confidentiality. HIPAA is a very big thing. If you have been working in healthcare, you already understand the importance of the patient privacy as well as the implications if it's not followed. No patient or family information or identifiers can be shared within anyone, even healthcare providers not currently involved in their care. Failure to comply with this policy may also result in failure of the nursing course. So these are all the policies we're actually going to pull out specifically, but I do want to talk about a couple different areas on the form that you're going to be asked to sign. When you download the policy agreement form, which is also found in this section of the orientation course, you will see a brief description of two other areas. One is the permission to release personal information, which will allow us to release personal information only to contracted clinical agencies for school use only. There are some clinical sites you will use that will require a contract from Northwestern, and if that is the case, they will ask for your personal information just to verify you are who you say you are. And so if that's the case, by giving us permission here, you're allowing us to make that contact or help with that if needed from the agency you're going to be with. The last one is the permission to videotape. Although you will not be doing any simulation within any lab setting, you will be giving presentations via an online platform called Zoom. Zoom will allow us to see recordings or have conversations in real time. So it's like you're really presenting in front of a class. So this permission allows us to record your presentation if necessary. Now please note, we will not record any presentation without your knowledge of the recording. So this was a very brief overview of the student handbook. Please take a few more minutes of your time to review it more thoroughly. Once you have done this, there is this form we've been talking about, the policy agreement form. You will need to download either electronically or personally. You can print it and sign it. Initial by each one, sign, date, and resubmit to the appropriate drop box within this Blackboard orientation course. This needs to be completed prior to finalizing the orientation course. You can actually take a picture. If you want to print it, you can initial it, sign it, date it, take a picture, and upload the picture. You just need to make sure that everything you upload is readable. If you have any questions at all about anything you see in the handbook, please don't hesitate to contact me or your advisor for clarification.